much motivation is happening in the comments right now.
I'm loving it. I'm loving
Motivate.
Look at all these motivated people or people who want some extra motivation. Even motivated people can use extra motivation.
This is my motivation for tonight. It's iced coffee. It's
Iced
a lot.
coffee.
Lots.
And I have water.
Well, cheers. I like that we both kind of wait. Ready?
Yeah, boom.
I like that we're both just like, whatever works, man. Whatever we're doing. But yes, welcome to everyone for the best of BeLive tonight. And Ross, how are you doing, my friend? It's been a whole week since I've seen you.
I'm doing great. Great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I am caffeinated, so everything's cool. But yeah, it's just I feel like the closer we get to summer, it just gets busier. And I don't know, is that just me or do you feel that way?
I feel very busy right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what that has to do with summer or not, but things just seem really busy right now.
Yeah.
And the weather's getting hot here too. And then we had like a big rain and windstorm earlier today, but fortunately I didn't lose power. I have power because I'm here, right?
That's right. Well, and you live streamed already today somewhere else, Mr. Live Streaming Fiend. You're crazy like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I was on the Social ROI Twitter chat, and then Madeline Sklar, who hosts that, does a live stream afterwards. So we did a little post-show live stream as well.
I'm having fun with the captions today. I mean, you guys have seen, I put some little emojis. We'd love it if you'd share the show because, well, sharing is caring and so on. So it'd be great if you'd share the show. And we're going to talk a little bit about a way to share the show that we are using in a moment. But yeah, it's been busy times coming up. I hope you guys are all, as we said, we're getting motivated for tonight. I am so excited to talk to your guest too, because I hear nothing but good things and she looks amazing. So it's going to be awesome.
She's fantastic. Did you get a chance to meet her or see her speak at Summit Live last year?
I did not. No, I don't believe I did. I'm sure I was like running rampant around or trying to like loop people into the Let's Live Stream broadcast. So it didn't quite happen, but I'm excited. But I like Sandra Santorino. I was just doing my pre-show and she's like, oh my gosh, I totally talked to her like a few weeks ago. Oh my gosh, this is great. And I know you talked about her too. So I'm excited to meet Cynthia this evening and get motivated. I love her whole laser focus thing. Yeah. I love that.
Now, you mentioned emojis. You've got emojis on the lower third. Have you tried emojis on the scrolling text?
I have. Let me just pull that up. No, and that is not doable. You cannot do emojis on the scrolling. So let's see. So if I do this, please share yo. I cannot do emojis on that. But I can do emojis on a still agenda item. So there you have the emoji. Best of BeLive. Everyone do your jazz hands right now. Best of BeLive. If you guys think I should use a different emoji or that we should use a different emoji, post it in a comment. If you just think that, well, is there like a better one? Fireworks going on and stuff. But yeah.
Speaking of Sandra Santorino, she's here.
Hello, darling.
She's with us, and she knows Cynthia from the Blab days.
Oh, Blab.
Dan Goodwin is a fan of Cynthia as well. Welcome, Dan. John Piper is here. Sandy is here. Kevin and Michelle and Irene and you and I. And this is the best of BeLive. Welcome, everybody. We're here every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And we talk about some of the best people or the best uses of the BeLive platform. Cynthia Bazin is our guest tonight. She does a great job using BeLive to host talk shows, interview shows, and she's been live streaming across platforms. She's got a great story. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But let's talk about what's going on in the look at that. I mean, like I don't even get it out of my mouth, and she knows when to put the lower third. This is
I know you're
expertly producing this. So
thank you.
With the live stream news, let's talk about cross posting because Facebook had 3 announcements last week, and one's going to be replay feature, rewind feature that lets you go back. Another's going to be dealing with stream keys, which you don't really need for using BeLive. But the big one in my eyes was live cross posting. And should I try and explain what cross posting is, or do you have a brief explanation?
I did earlier in my pre-show, so I would actually like you to explain it, and then we can talk about it. So, take it away, Ross. What is cross posting on Facebook?
Okay, so let's start with a share, right? Everybody knows what a share is. If you have a Facebook page, I'm not talking about personal profiles right now, but you have a business page or personal brand page, whatever, and you're watching a live stream, perhaps it's one you're a guest on that live stream, you can share it to your page. Cross-posting is different in that it actually treats the post like if right now I'm cross-posting this to Livestream Universe. So instead of it treating it as I shared it to my page, it's treating it as a post from that page. So it's as though I went live not only here, but on the Livestream Universe page. And so however, in Facebook's algorithm, they notify people when Livestream Universe goes live. It is my understanding, I don't know this fact 100%, right? But it's my understanding that they are then treating that as if Livestream Universe went live, and yet all the views are aggregating together. So it's just like a share in the sense that you get one total for views, although you do get some breakdown of where people watched and how long and all that. But I don't know. If you were new to cross-posting, would you have a little bit of an idea of what it is now that I explained it?
I think so, yeah, because and you guys, cross-posting itself is not necessarily new. So I did a little research too. So I think it was in fall of 2016 is when they first rolled out that you could cross-post videos on from page to page. And I think you might have mentioned this, but it has to be pages. It doesn't correlate to groups. I know Sandra was saying below, she's like, wish it would be groups or profiles, but pages. So from the BeLive page, from the Livestream Universe page, from Really Socials, my page, as long as you have some agreement, and it is a permission thing, you have to have the admins of those pages involved agree, yes, you can cross-post this stuff. So prior to this last week, it was videos, but it wasn't live videos. But is that what's different, Ross? Is that now we can do some live video cross-posting?
I believe that is what is different. Yes, Rachel, thank you for asking a question you sure knew the answer to. You'd make a good lawyer. But I think for people who are live streaming, and there's advantages to cross-posting. I haven't done much of it as far as, shows that have already occurred or uploaded videos. But I think for people who are live streaming, you want to get as much reach as you can and get that engagement going, get people joining the live, get people notified when you go live, get them joining the live show. So if you have multiple pages or if you're a guest on a show, the host can give you cross-posting rights, I guess you'd call it. Basically, you have to sort of friend somebody as a cross-post from page to page, right? Just like you send a friend invite and maybe they say yes and maybe they say no. Well, it's the same thing with cross-posting. You have to request permission to cross-post, and then you have to give them permission to cross-post. So it's a mutually agreed on thing. And then you can designate which videos you cross-post. So Rachel actually designated this show, believe it or not, right? We would cross-post our own show. And then I went into Livestream Universe and I posted it on the Livestream Universe Facebook page so that when we go live, it should be treated as a like a native video on that page in the way the algorithm works.
If I may I
you may,
do
Rachel.
Since I am using BeLive, and this is one of the features that we're allowed to do, I'm going to share my screen. So I'm going to bring my screen up into here. You guys, let's walk through this a little bit. So I'm going to solo my screen. So this is what you see. So now what you're looking at, we mentioned that we each have our own pages. This is my Really Social page. And let me hop over there. I'll scroll around a little bit. So this is what it looks like. So you can see that it's streaming on my timeline and it's saying I am live right now. Really, social's live right now, even though this is a BeLive page. So again, it's that permissions thing. You have to be of one mind with the other page that this is fine to do because you know it's going to look inherent. But also any views happening on my timeline are impacting the video itself. It's not like separate on my page and the other. And I really quick just want to show, I'm on business manager, so I have to hop in here. I really want to show you guys what this looks like in your settings. First of all, publishing tools on your page, which you should all have this. But if you go into your publishing tools, that is where you're going to be able to see videos that you're allowed to cross post. So see right up here on the left, it says videos, video library, and then videos you can cross post. And there it is, blammo. So you can like click it and you can select it. And then it lets you say, do you want to view it? Do you want to create a new post with this video? But again, that is a video that is designated as cross postable between our pages. And so that's how that works. And it's pretty awesome. So, I dig it. I like that it's a feature. It's fabulous. And I love that Michael, I believe, posted a comment below saying, in today's algorithm, we totally need all the help we can get from trying to be able to get those extra views. And again, if it makes sense, Ross, again, I think you are a prime example of this. Livestream universe. Hello. It's about live streaming. The show is about live streaming, and particularly live streaming.
Sort of makes sense to cross post this there is what you're trying to say.
Sense. But we're both hosting this, and we definitely use our own properties, our own pages and such to promote this show. So it works great, and it was insanely easy, and it really was just about once you create a video post, you can, and again, you guys, you can schedule your BeLives, and once you schedule it, you see that post pop up. You go right in, you say, I want to edit it, and it's got a settings tab right there, and you can say, I would like to let this cross post to these pages. So as long as you've already set up that agreement to cross post between pages, it'll let you. So, and SmartChic I see is here already, and she said she just posted this to her business page and personal page. Thank you. Which she's going to be on with us in a moment. So that's also something she would love to do. So there you go.
Right. So
but yeah, it's awesome.
For the share. We appreciate it. And if you haven't shared this out yet, please do share it out. Let people know that we have Cynthia Bazin coming up. If you have shared it, it's no crime to share it again. But we do appreciate everybody who has shared the video out. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for joining us. And that is a look at cross-posting. I really think you should consider it. If you do shows, if you have guests on your shows, set up an agreement with them where you can cross-post the video and they can cross post the video and so forth. And so you just expand your reach as much as possible. And it's kind of funny when Facebook announced this, that they talked about helping publishers increase their reach. Well, wasn't it Facebook who might have limited our reach a little bit?
I know. Don't you feel like, so like, here you go, have a present. We're like, thanks. Are you going to take it away soon? Because we don't know what you're doing.
It's like somebody locking the refrigerator and then going, since we're hungry, since you're probably hungry, I want to help you find some food. So we left a little box in the corner for you.
I feel very Oliver Twist. Please, sir, I want some more. And there we go. We get the cross posting. Thank you very much. But
it is a cool feature, and I do recommend using it if you can. So with that, let's move forward into our next segment, and we want to talk a little bit about our guest who will be joining us in just a few minutes, and that is Cynthia Bazin, and I will put her video up above. And
marvelous.
Now, as I walk everybody through the behind-the-scenes process, I will start to play it. The video is muted. So.
We like this. You're showing people this is how this works. We're very transparent here.
Very well said. I'm demonstrating the different features. So, Cynthia Bazin is a live streamer. You can say that for sure. She's one of the most, I mean, maybe the most consistent live streamer I can think of. Mm-hmm. She shows up. When you talk about showing up, she started live streaming. I'm not even sure where she started, but when I found her, she was live streaming. I found her, like I discovered her when she was introduced by a mutual friend. And I started watching her live streams. She was going live every day on Periscope, every day on Busker, every day.
Wow.
I mean, I think she goes live on almost every platform, almost every day. And seriously, motivational, inspirational, great live streams, brings the energy, looks at the camera, connects with her viewers, welcomes them, talks to them, inspires them, pushes them, gets them to engage. Really well done. And excited that she's been using BeLive. She's been doing more of the talk show style and having guests on and doing interviews, and she's terrific at that as well. She just uses basically the two-shot, the side-by-side, and uses some of the lower thirds to share the name of her guest, herself, and to bring on some comments, but doesn't do a lot with changing shots and things like that. I don't know that I show it here, but she does a nice job when she has a guest come on. And when the guest comes up, she speaks just like where the transition takes place. And you see it go from one and it slides back and the other person is there. It's a really cool transition the way she does it. And I haven't seen many people do it like that, and her timing was perfect. So that's pretty cool. She's used both the wide view like we have right now and sort of the classic 2-up view that we had when you and I were just on by ourselves earlier. Super professional, super polished, a terrific public speaker, somebody with great eye contact when she talks. She knows her material inside and out. She has a plan. She sticks to it. There's no wasted time, no wasted movement within her episodes. She totally respects her audience and their time. Really one of the best people I think I've seen using live video consistently, easy for me to say, over a long period of time. And in addition to, helping people get going, get off their seats and get moving and go towards their goal, she's also talks about business. She's a business coach and mentor and strategist. And so she's used live video in her own business to build her business. And I'm excited to make Cynthia Bazin our best of BeLive pick for this week. For those reasons, I'm excited that she's using BeLive. I love the way she starts out her BeLive shows. She gets right into it. She welcomes her audience, says hi to a few people in the chat, talks about what's coming up, introduces her guest. It's as polished an opening as you're going to get. And that's, I think a lot of us, even who've been doing live streaming for a while, can watch what she does and find a few wrinkles here and there that it's like, I think I should add that to my own live streaming. She's really terrific at it. And in addition, she does TV appearances on Good Day Sacramento. So traditional media and their gatekeepers have certainly welcomed her in, and she provides great advice on those shows. I've watched those segments. They're really well done as well. So nothing but praise for Cynthia Bazin. We're glad she's part of the BeLive family, and she is my pick for Best of BeLive this week.
Excellent pick, as always. Ross, I have to say, too, I was investigating her, which we'll talk about investigating. She has a really cool background, which I can't wait to talk about her history. It's so cool. But talking about her live streaming and just looking at everything, you're right. The consistency is there. So, guys, with her live streaming, I checked out her website, which is, I love that she's the custom, the .me. But she also, she's on several platforms, and she live streams, as Ross said, twice a day, basically. So I want you guys to think about that. We're live streaming the show once a week. Okay. And so if you think about doing it twice a day, she's all in. And one thing I did check on her Facebook page too, is that in addition to these longer form interviews, she'll also do these little 1 minute, I'm trying to think, 1 minute clips. And I really like that because I'm always a big fan of the short form too, because my goodness, everybody's time is money. We're all trying to squeeze and cram everything in. But I love that she just hops on camera for 1 minute. And so it's a quick little takeaway, and there you go. And that takes some dedication, some planning, and just knowing your medium. So I love that she does that. You also pointed out one thing I was going to bring up too, the effortlessness with which she brings on a guest. Which is credited not only to her but also to BeLive. She does. I mean, I was watching. I think it's in another clip that you did where she's about to bring on a guest, and like you can kind of you know how we know when we're producing. We're like, let me watch you produce this and see if you're doing this, and so you can kind of just see her arm moving. All of a sudden, her guest is on. You're like, that was amazing, and the vocal transition is totally smooth, but also the fact that obviously BeLive makes it really easy. She's got her guest in the lobby. She's able to just with one click bring them on, and here we are. And so she has it very much down as far as like how she's bringing people on and knowing what she wants to appear on the screen, when she wants it to appear. You also again brought up how she gets on the comments that people are leaving, and I am going to use her phrase that laser focused. I really felt that she was laser focused on every comment. She is very smooth about acknowledging the comment. I love that she reads the comments out loud. And I know we do that a lot on this show too. We're not just always saying, hey, look at Michael's comment or look at so-and-so's comment. We'll actually read them aloud. And I love that she gives that acknowledgement to that person. So not only displaying their comment, but also saying, hey, I see you. And here's what you just said. And she's doing that not just for people who might, as we know, sometimes people just listen to live streams or videos. So she's doing that. So it's like, hey, if you're just going just total audio in this, I can make sure you know what is being said in the comments. But she's also doing it for her guest, just in case that they're, not able. It's a lot to focus on, as we know. I mean, if you're hosting a show, for sure. But if you are a guest and perhaps you're not necessarily as used to being live as Cynthia is or that we are, it can be a lot to take in. And you may just be totally trying to focus on saying, hey, I'm just trying to know my subject matter and also look at the camera. Well, it's great that she makes it easier for them, her guests to say, hey, and I'm going to take care of the comments too. Don't you worry about that. Let's just talk here, So I love that she does that. She's a great host. And I feel like I can't wait to talk to her too, just about all the broadcast appearances she's done on like local news for Sacramento, to talk about how that's translated to how well she's managing her own broadcast. So excellent choice, Ross, as always. Very pleased that you brought Cynthia Bazin on with a SmartChic broadcast, and I think she's a fabulous Best of BeLive choice for this week.
No, thank you. And you made a great point. She is so smooth at her transitions and how she handles bringing comments in and acknowledging people. She's able to really make it feel personal when she acknowledges somebody and yet not lose the flow of the show. And she does those things so well that when you're looking at it, you can, I mean, I'm sure I left out some of the things that she does well because she does them so well that they don't stand out that she's even doing them. Right. Like you have to think for a minute because the show just flows when she hosts a show. So it's 8:25 or 25 after, wherever you are. It's 25 after where the small hand is on the clock. Will differ, but the big hand is at 25 after. So let's go ahead and bring up Cynthia and welcome her to the show. Hey, Cynthia.
Hey there.
How are you?
For having me. I'm so excited.
We are too. It's great to have you on.
Yeah. I love what you're doing with BeLive. It's very different from what you did and are doing with some of the other platforms, doing more the talk show interview style. How are you liking that, and how is that different for you as the host?
Oh, I love it. I mean, I love doing BeLives. Again, everything that I kind of do, Russ and Rachel, is just having conversations with people. So BeLive is such an easy platform to use, like you were talking about with the transitions and stuff like that. So if people are kind of looking to maybe do BeLive, I encourage it because it really is easy to learn. And it's just great to have those live conversations, not just talking by yourself. So I'm enjoying it a lot.
So tell us what your schedule for going live is across platforms, right? Because I it seems like you go live at multiple times a day. Rachel said twice a day. Can you tell us kind of where we can find you live and video for those that don't want to miss a broadcast?
So the one thing that I'm really consistent in every single day, and a lot of people are going to go, ouch, no, you don't really go on that early, is that I do a morning broadcast at 5:40 in the morning on the West Coast.
Nice. Wow.
Is that on Periscope? I'm in my baseball cap and workout gear. I do it before I go work out and start my day. So, you know what, that just started like 2.5 years ago on Periscope, and it's just become a habit. It's one of those things that's just part of my day. And so I wake up, get dressed up, and I get on and I do my subject of the day. During the day also, Rachel had mentioned these, I call them focused 1-minute clips. As much as I can, what I like to do is I like to do a focus 1-minute clip. It might be based on what I do on Periscope or on BeLive, but something that just kind of gives someone quick, easy tip to apply to their life, because a lot of people don't have the time to watch the longer broadcast. So as much as I can on Instagram, and then I cross post it to other platforms. I use that clip and post it to YouTube, to LinkedIn, to other platforms. And then once a week, I try to do a BeLive. That's the one thing at this time, based on my schedule, it's kind of tough to have a consistent day, an hour, but I do try to do that once a week.
So now you're always so energetic, and so just like when the camera goes on, you're ready, right? Is that how you feel inside every time, or are you able to either manage your energy or just understand kind of like now it's time to switch into performance mode? Like how, because like if I do one live stream a day, right, I will make sure that, okay, I'm mentally right for that live stream, right? But you're going live so much that like you can't go, okay, I'm going to make sure that I have, because you have to go live at those times. Like you've made that commitment. So how do you do it as far as always being on when you go live? Is that just like, that's your approach to life, or is it, there's some techniques or tactics you use to kind of get fired up for the camera?
I do 20 push-ups first. No, I'm only kidding.
I'm like, oh God.
No, obviously coffee helps early in the morning, but you know what? It kind of helps that I'm a morning person. So, when you're kind of figuring out when you want to go live and when you want to do those consistent broadcasts, it's really important to make sure you're doing it at the times that you're at your best. So for me, in the middle of the day would be like the worst time for me to do it, because I'm kind of in that midday slump. So I kind of designed my broadcast around, when it was best for me. And I kind of come to the belief that if you are consistent in what you're doing in live streaming, always consistent, the right people are going to come and the right people are going to be able to watch. And for those that can't watch, then can watch the replay later. But I would say definitely, as far as stuff goes, I'm a morning person for those definite broadcasts on Periscope. But also, you love what you do. I always say that, you know what? You got to love what you do at least like 80% of the time. Nothing's perfect.
Right.
But you got to enjoy what you're talking about, and you got to love what you do for work or for just, broadcasting. So that really helps. So being the right time, knowing your subject and loving what you do.
I love that you bring that up, because I think so many people will, they're told, oh, live video is great. Live streaming is great. It's the way to hack the algorithm. You should totally get your subject matter on live streaming. You're going to blow it out of the water. And so there's not a whole lot of preparation that goes into it. There's like, well, I just better go live no matter what. And then you wind up going live. You may not do, may not think through the strategy of saying, well, am I a morning person? Nah, it's fine. I'll go, at 6 a.m. And then you are just not the person that anyone should be watching live at that moment. Cause you're just like, oh God, life sucks right now. So I love that you mentioned that, saying you need to do what fits right for you, that, if 11 PM is the time that you light up and this is what you're ready for, do it, own that and go with it. So I really love that you are trying to encourage people to find that niche that fits them, because as you mentioned, the right people then will come to the broadcast because they're getting that real person at their best for live streaming. Exactly.
And again, with that cross posting, you'll be able to hit those other audiences during other times. Yeah.
Yes, nice use of the keyword cross-posting.
That
is our word. That is our word of the day here. When you do your TV appearances, for those of us who don't do TV, how is prepping for a TV appearance and the experience of being on TV different from, say, hosting a live stream show or doing a live stream video by yourself or with a co-host? Obviously, there's a lot of crew and there's a lot of things going on, but talk about what that experience is like in comparison.
I would love to. A lot of people ask me about this and they're kind of shocked by this, Ross and Rachel, but it's actually easier. I've found that, it's a lot easier than doing, say, live streaming on Periscope. We'll say Periscope because of all the comments coming in and all of the stuff and the hearts and everything like that. When you're on camera, you don't have any of those comments to have to address. So I have found that Periscope really prepared me to be able to be on my feet and to be able to, provide that content. What the most shocking thing is that typically these segments are 4 minutes long, and I'm typically giving 5 tips. So to be able to pack all of that information into 4 minutes when the broadcaster, the anchor, is actually talking with you, it goes by like in 30 seconds. So the main thing I would say for people that are looking to do TV, and this is an amazing opportunity for people, reach out to your local stations because they're always looking for great content. The thing is this, you need to know your content back and forth, and there's not much preparation with the anchor. Typically, I don't have any prep. I usually give over the tips to the anchor, and then I have to feed off her questions or her thoughts. So that's why Periscope has really helped me. I do Q&As on Periscope, so it really keeps me on my feet on Periscope. So when I go on TV for that 4 minutes, I'm kind of prepared to be able to answer any question that comes across. I hope that kind of helps.
No, that's great. I was going to ask you that question too. I feel like Ross is in my head right now because that's what I was going to say was like, how different is it to be on, like a broadcast station where, they kind of go, and I'm assuming they're broadcasting live, probably going to tape it for later too, but to cycle through. But I can imagine social media live streaming would really be, once you get to like a regular broadcast from a TV station, it's like, oh my gosh, this is easy. I'm just, I'm only have 4 minutes I got to fill. And otherwise it's like, I'm just talking to this one person and there's nobody giving me all this extra input versus on here, for instance, where you do have the comments flying, you've got the reactions, and you're also producing the whole thing yourself at the same time.
Exactly. And the one tip having to do, I've got multiple, but for TV is that you can't think about who's on the other side of the camera and who's watching out there, is that you really just focus in on the anchor, the person that you're talking with, and just take a deep breath and just like have a conversation like you and I are having. It's really fun. And again, it's only 4 minutes long. So the main thing is just know your stuff, take a deep breath, and just have a conversation with the person.
Do you ever struggle with, though, because we talk about this all the time too with live streaming, because I've got my laptop down here but my camera's right there, so I'm looking at the camera because you guys are in my camera. Do you ever find yourself challenged when you're at the broadcast studio to be like, I need to look at the camera but you're like supposed to keep your eyes on the anchor?
Yeah, if you saw my first one, it was ridiculous. I got some tips from the anchor. So typically when she kind of looks towards the camera, I kind of follow her lead. So you know what I mean? So if you're trying to emphasize a point, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's good to, look around maybe away from the anchor for a second. But typically I kind of take her lead because I kind of know when she's looking at the camera. So then when she does, I do. So the first time I was on the news, I remember I was just staring at her the whole time. I'm like, I ain't looking anywhere else, but you learn as you do it. But quite honestly, they make it so easy for you. They'll let you know, where to look. But literally, you just kind of follow the lead of the person that you're being interviewed by or talking with.
Well, how many different cameras are there that like you could look at, or
there's multiple. Yeah, it depends sometimes on the particular segment I'm doing, but you'll see at least like 3 different cameras. And sometimes like you don't even know that there's a camera there. They'll have one from the back or something like that. So sometimes it's good not to know.
No, we get used to having that mirror in front of us, right? We get used to we're seeing ourselves you know, in the interface when we're using BeLive or whatever, you don't see yourself when you're on TV, right?
No, you don't see yourself at all. You'll see some scrolling comments for that the anchor is gonna, perhaps read off like within the camera, but you don't see yourself at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got one other tip too, is that if you run warm, like if you're always hot, don't wear something heavy because there's a lot of lights.
Yeah, a lot of makeup and lights.
Warm on set, so
That's right.
last thing you want to do is be sweating on set.
Well, there's a reason they call you the smart chick. Sandra Santorino has a question from the comments. Where did you come up with the name Smart Chick for yourself and your business?
So actually the name, I didn't name myself, Smart Chick. It was actually, in my years of investigations, I did 22 years in the investigations world. And a lot of people used to ask me advice, throughout all the years. And it just kind of came one of those things. It was almost like a funny thing, you're such a smart chick, right? And so the original plan for my business, which I do a portion of it, was to be a young girls company. So I have like t-shirts and baseball caps, and I do empowerment for young girls. So that's how my business really started out, was for every young girl, every woman to be a smart chick. And then it kind of formed into something bigger, in which I opened it up to both men and women for mentoring and training.
So you mentioned that you have done private investigation. This just, I love hearing about people's backgrounds, because, you've written books, you're on live streams, you're motivational and everything like that. I would just love to hear, like, would you ever, as a private investigator, have imagined that today you'd be doing what you're doing the live streams and all that stuff, and just talk a little bit about that, like just what that experience and how that lends to today, what you're doing?
Absolutely not. So it's kind of interesting. Some people feel so much pressure to find like a career in what they're doing. Is that, you know what, when I was younger, I could have never imagined that I would have been a private investigator or working in the prison system, for over a decade, or working in the casinos in Las Vegas, catching people, right? It's one of those things that, and like what you are all doing, you put yourself out there, right? And you try something, you try different things, and you end up enjoying it. The quick backstory was, I really love psychology and counseling and stuff like that. So I went to school for counseling psychology, and a mentor advisor had advised, you know what, maybe you should add something along with the psychology. Maybe you should try something with it like criminal justice. I just happened to take a few courses, loved it, ended up doing an internship at a maximum security prison. I totally freaked out my parents, and then ended up working in the prison system. And then from there, but if I didn't try it, if I didn't like put myself out there to see if I like it or not like it, I never would have done that. And so I did that for 22 years, absolutely loved it. It was so much fun. And so, but, my experience in the investigations world and security world, I ended up training, doing a lot of speaking having to do with that. So I never thought it would turn into this, but every little thing that I've done as far as training and speaking, I guess would kind of lead up to some of the stuff that I've done.
Wow. Such a cool backstory.
So when you use live streaming for your business, talk about how, kind of the process, right? Like how did you start seeing results, right? Is it a long process? Is it a short process? Did you go every day as kind of part of the strategy? What brought you to the point where you said, okay, this is something that I'm going to invest in the way that I have, and kind of, what kind of results have you seen from using live streaming?
It definitely takes a while. So everybody that I teach and, mentor on this, is that it takes a while to build a following, a tribe, a community, whatever you want to call it. So what I did when I first started out was just like you were talking about in the intro, was that engaging, getting to know people, supporting other broadcasts. In the beginning, it was like, okay, I'm going to talk about what I talk about, engage, see if people are liking what I'm talking about, and really support other broadcasters that came into mind. So, doing that reciprocal marketing, just helping one another out. That's what I really started out with. And again, I said to myself, you know, I don't want to overwhelm myself, but what can I do to have that consistent process? And so it started out like once a day, even if it's just 10, 15 minutes, I'm going to jump on and do this thing. And it came well before Periscope. We were part of the Blab days and, you know, other different platforms and stuff like that. But yeah, just consistent, what worked in my schedule, and that sort of thing. And then, you know, I started after a while, after getting a following, I started letting people know, you know, what I do, but always providing that value. It really, you know, I don't want to say it was easy because it's not easy, but my method has always been in my own business, in just in life and getting to know people. It's always been about relationship building and never being salesy. So I'd provide content, and then towards the middle and towards the end a couple times, listen, I would introduce myself, let people know what I do, that I'm a mentor, I'm a trainer, I'm a speaker. If you're struggling and you need some help in some areas, reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. Never, ever really got into the, you know, just the straight sales, you know, life. It just, to me, is that people have always naturally reached out to me. If they found the content valuable, they knew how to reach me, that's how it ended up working. So for me, it's always been about 80% providing value, engaging, getting to know people, and about 20% straight talking about what I do.
May I go, Ross? I saw you like, we're like both like,
both opened our mouth at the same time.
I know at that moment we were not in each other's brain. We're like, I have a question. Do you find, so with having to somewhat sell what you know and talk about that, how do you see live streaming fitting into that? And do you think that's changing the landscape of how people are sharing their content, sharing what they know, and building business?
I think it's so necessary for businesses to be on live streaming, whether, you know, you sell a product or you're selling services. Is that I used to advertise in all types of magazines and all that kind of publications. Is that I don't do any of that. I think people, and again, it kind of goes back to my investigations background, is that people are wary. People are really taking a lot of time to do due diligence with people. People are jumping on opportunities if there is just like a magazine ad or something's posted on social media. If you want to build the like, trust, and respect factor, and again, that's what people really want in my mind, is that people want to do business with people that they like, trust, and respect, is that, you know, that it's so essential to do live streaming, and it helps it so much.
Here we are again. We need to not do that anymore.
When you look at some of the different ways that you've done live streams, how did you come up with kind of did you come up with a formula that you feel works for what you're trying to do? Because some people do the sort of the slow start and build up. Some go right into their material. Some do a lot of promoting and not so much. As you mentioned, you bring the value right away. How did you do, like trial and error, or how did you find kind of what works? Because your style it seems to me to be very focused on, and maybe that's because you're the laser focused mentor, but it's very focused on, I'm going to bring the value and I'm going to make the most of this time that we have, and I'm not going to waste your time.
Well, yeah, I'm always cognizant of people's time, that sometimes people are watching from work, people are, you know, getting ready for work. So for me, again, it's getting right into it. Even though I engage a ton with people that are coming in, is that making sure that, you know what, that, you know, I, you know, get right into the content, engage with some people, have some like bullet pointed tips. That's really important to me, is not just having a conversation with people, but really being able to have 3 or 4 or 5 takeaways that somebody can apply to their life. And so for me, that's really important. Just like the laser focus tip, make it easy, make it simple to understand. and then for people to be able to apply it to the personal and professional life easily. So that's kind of my method, is that I always say, breaking it down, reducing the noise, make it simple so people understand it well.
Can you share a few tips for BeLivers who may be just starting out or trying to grow an audience of some things that you think that they should be doing, or that could help those who are relatively new?
So I would say, talk with your audience versus talking to them. So, and then it's a little bit of a skill to do that. But again, if there's one person in the broadcast, engage with them, talk like you're talking with them inside your living room or something like that. Again, really not preaching or teaching, talking with them and saying that, you really want to understand what they need. Knowing your content, talking about stuff that you really know. Don't think about it and get so crazy about, I've got 3 pages of notes here, like in front of me to prepare for today. Like, I know what I'm going to talk about today, but I just had a couple bullet points that I want to make sure that I come across. So not having something that you're reading, something that you can refer to and be able to talk to your audience easily. Quality over quantity. Sometimes people think you have to do it for an hour or for 45 minutes. Making sure you just slow down, look inside the camera, think about, like someone that you're talking with, and just being able to try to make the greatest impact, and don't worry about the numbers. The numbers will come if you provide value, you engage, and then again, you support other people.
Sandra wants to know, do you have a flash briefing on Amazon? Ooh. The laser tips would be awesome over there.
I don't, Sandra, and I love Sandra. Hey, Sandra, so good for you to be here. You know what? That's a great tip. I'm going to have to look that up.
I think Ross knows something about that, don't you, Ross? You know how to get those on there.
I might be able to help with that.
I'd be able to help a little bit. Little cross post going on back and forth here with the know-how. Did you I had a question too, just about, because with your schooling in psychology, I could totally see how that would help as far as, like, obviously in what you do with motivation and helping coach people, but also even with live streaming and broadcasting, where you're able to connect with someone over video and kind of read the room, if you will. How does that figure into your broadcasting? And would you say it's, at least to some degree, pretty necessary if you want to be really good at, like, live streaming?
Yeah, it's sort of like, the basics of counseling is really listen to people. And so sometimes it's comments, right? So if you know that person, from other platforms, they've been kind of with you for a while, you can kind of read what, they might be asking inside of the chat stream. In counseling, you learn that people just want to be heard, so that's why I kind of flash the comments up on the screen. That's why I read them, because I want people to feel special, relevant, that, they took the time to come into my broadcast when they could be doing a million other things. So it's like, that's the least that I could do for them coming into the broadcast is like, let's get them out there. Let's put their name up, on the screen. And so it's just kind of a way to give back, to kind of pay it forward, saying, I appreciate you putting a comment, because I think we all can remember Rachel and Ross, a broadcast on Periscope or some other platform. It was like crickets. And it's like, man, will someone just say something?
Someone please watch. Just watch and say, I know. And then you see someone watching and nobody's commenting. You're like, but I know you're there. Just type something.
I remember that. So for anybody that puts a comment, you know what? They have to type it in. For somebody who's doing hearts on Periscope, they're tapping those hearts. So I remember the days it was like, please, somebody say something, So it's like, I really appreciate that if anybody likes or shares or comments. So I make sure to try to do the little bit of extra, is that after like a broadcast like this, even though it might not be right away, maybe it's the next day, I try to respond to at least one comment on BeLive, what they made, just saying, hey, thanks for the comment. It was great. Thanks for joining in. Just kind of letting them know that, I acknowledge you. I appreciate you taking the time here, and just making them, again, feeling relevant and special.
That's great.
What kind of content do you enjoy watching if you're watching a live stream?
Wow, I love watching all different types of content. Gosh, let's see. I'm into leadership stuff, so things to up level me. You know what I mean? So not necessarily the stuff that I do, but I love anything that's going to up level me and my leadership, things that I might have not thought about in a while. And I love listening to stories of people that have gone through major trials and tribulations, and they've kind of come on the other side. Those are the things that I absolutely love, is the motivation of real people that have gone through stuff and have come on the other side to motivate us.
We had a little back and forth there.
That's right.
Too many cooks.
Yeah, it's fun. Well, Cynthia, it's been so amazing to hear from you. Is there any last thing that you'd like to tell our audience about, whether it's about what you're doing or to motivate us, or just kind of a general life/live streaming lesson, if they happen to go hand in hand? Anything else you can share with us from your vast wealth of knowledge?
I think, just be yourself. That, don't try to copy like another broadcaster, or emulate somebody else. Is that, it gets exhausting. Like you try to, I want to be like this person or that person. It really doesn't work, for the long term. So kind of embrace your quirks. You know what I mean? So if you're an introvert, that can work for you. If you are like crazy, as far as your personality goes, utilize that to your best advantage. So I would say, yeah, just be yourself. And for the live streaming piece, is that just build relationships, is that it could be a very lonely world on live streaming if you just go on there and broadcast and then you shut it down and you don't support anybody else. That's where the real magic comes in, when you get to know other live streamers and other broadcasters and you support one another.
The website is SmartChic, CHIC, smartchic.me, and the Twitter handle is @thesmartchick, and facebook.com/smartchick. Just look her up anywhere. Cynthia Bazin will probably be live in about 5 minutes, and then 10 minutes after that. So just stop by one of those destinations. You'll probably find a video. But it's terrific having you on. You do such a great job, and keep inspiring people. It's really beautiful what you do.
I appreciate you, Rachel and Ross. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you on. Wow, that was awesome. I feel motivated. I do. I love that, because God, there's some consistency with what we hear from so many broadcasters too, but just the be yourself mantra, which is so true. And I love what she said about, I'm a morning person, therefore I go live in the morning. I'm like, God, that's so right on.
She makes everything seem so doable. You know how much like people who are live streaming and entrepreneurs in general think about, like, wow, this month is kind of dragging. Maybe I don't want to do this, or, is there really anything that I'm going to get out of this, or whatever. And then you think about somebody who every single day at 5:45 her time goes live, and you realize you just got to keep doing it. And eventually the audience will come, the business success will come. Yeah. We're not saying that if you live stream, all your prayers will be answered and everything you want to happen in life will happen. But certainly if you want to live stream to build your brand and build your business and everything else, it's a long game. It's not something you can go live a few times and go, oh, okay, the numbers aren't there, the conversions aren't there, the sales aren't there, let me stop now. It takes a long time, like anything else, and then eventually you'll start seeing the results.
That's right. And by the way, this segues a little bit into one thing that we always encourage people to do.
Yes. Our favorite. Nominate.
I can actually do this one because so you guys, we did just feature Cynthia Bazin, SmartChic, and we featured her BeLive show. Now you may have your own BeLive show that maybe no one knows about yet, but you're like, dude, I'm crushing it, or it's building. It's awesome. It's going great. I kick butt at it. Or if you know of a BeLive or a BeLive broadcast that you just really would like to have featured here on the Best of BeLive, this is your chance. So all you have to do is message the Facebook page BeLive. Okay. So now if you do nominate in the comments, that's not going to do anything. But what you do need to do is message the BeLive Facebook page. And all you have to do is type the word nominate and you'll be on your way. We'll send you a form. You can say, okay, here's the information. Here's where to find this show. I want to see this appear on and be featured on as a best of BeLive in the future. So we love those nominations. And that is how we've gotten some of these featured videos on here, is because we didn't know about these shows. And now we know because you guys nominate the show. So please take some time. If you think we're like, ooh, I know of a good one you guys haven't featured yet, nominate that show and we'll get it on the docket, because we love meeting all these different broadcasters and learning about what they're doing. It's amazing.
And as BeLive continues to grow and grow, it's not possible for us to know about every show that's out there. So we really do appreciate the nominations, and we do look at every show that gets nominated, in addition to doing our own research and using some different figures and facts and info that we have. And congratulations, Sandra. I mean, how about that? She's been live 167 days, and she has a flash briefing and does Facebook Live. I got to check out your flash briefing. If anybody else has a flash briefing, throw a 1 in the chat or type flash briefing. I'd love to check out your flash briefing as well and stay on top of
like
what
the new
people
podcast
are doing there. Yeah. So, wow, what a great show.
It really was. It was really good.
I feel inspired. Do you feel inspired? Do you feel ready to do a little bit more with live streaming?
I feel ready, or at least to say, maybe I need to shift my priorities a little bit and try to make room for it, because it's a lot to do. And I like what, that's one thing I liked about what Cynthia said too. She's very transparent. Just like, I do the 1 minutes. I go twice a day, but she goes, I'm still building to where I can do a weekly show, because that's a lot of prep and a lot of things out there to try to worry about, a lot of logistics. So, if you bite off more than you can chew before you're ready to chew it, you're probably going to choke. So
that's right. So, people say, okay, I'm going to go live and do an hour show every day or something. And it's like, well, you have work, you have family, you have lots of things. But if you set realistic goals, attainable goals, right, then you can meet them and you can see that progress. And thank you, Cynthia, for joining us. Cynthia Bazin from SmartChic is our guest today. And you've probably heard more today than you'll ever want to hear about cross-posting. But if you have a business page and you do shows and you have guests, you may want to enter into a cross-posting relationship. We will perhaps provide some feedback next week on how it went cross-posting to our own pages. And one thing I did learn today, Rachel, is for people who want to chat and join the chat, I need to put the link to the Facebook post for the BeLive post in my Livestream universe post, so that people can otherwise splits the chat, since it treats each one as a separate post.
Good point.
So apparently it aggregates the views, but it doesn't aggregate the chat. So
keeps those comments separate, which that can be problematic.
You can pin on your page a comment. So I plan to put a comment in with the link to the show and then send people over here so that they can chat with us.
Yes, if they want to go beyond just watching or listening and they're like, I need to say something, be like, well, come over on here.
That's
We're
right.
ready for your comments.
And with that, we've had some magnificent pauses today.
We've had
power of the pause.
We're both just watching each other like.
For Rachel, the broadcaster, for Rachel Moore, I'm Ross. We are BeLive. So
we are too many.
Thank you all. We're just too giddy tonight. But thank you all for joining us. Thanks to Cynthia Bazin from SmartChic, our guest. Thanks, everybody. If you haven't had a chance to share this, please do share it. Great interview today with Cynthia Bazin. We will be back next week, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, on Tuesday, right here on the BeLive TV Facebook page. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye-bye, y'all.